finish line, and I was confused and didn't know where I was. Like, it was...
So a normal day for you.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. About 5 o'clock.
Have you guys tried not running?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I was in that camp for a little bit.
It's more relaxing.
I'm really good at it.
Is this your first one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The one thing I will warn you about, the van is going to smell terrible.
Oh, it's going to smell
by the time you get to Seaside.
roses.
I mean, it's awful. I mean, nobody will have showered for 2 days, and then we'll be
we're
run.
enforcing the Ziploc bag rule.
Oh, that's a good
What's
idea.
that?
Yeah.
Change your clothes.
You
put it in a
change and you
Ziploc
put
bag.
everything in a Ziploc.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, by about the second leg, everybody's going to forget that, though. I'm just going to warn you.
Sounds horrifying.
The smells of hood to coast. That's not our topics today, though. All right. All right. Hello, everyone who's tuning in live right now on Facebook and YouTube. This is Trends with Benefits. This is our weekly roundtable podcast where we talk about everything from the last week in tech. We've got kind of topics all over the board today. So if you're coming along with us here for the ride, there's a lot of different things. We're going to talk about Elon's new spacesuit. Elon Musk and SpaceX has a new spacesuit, some Icelandic drone deliveries that are happening, a KFC VR game, and I said that correctly. We will talk about that in a minute. It's probably the most disturbing thing you'll see this week. But right off the bat, we're going to be talking about the Samsung Note 8, which just got released this week. And then, in addition, that kind of compared to the Google Pixel, which is coming out in about a month or so, and the Apple iPhone 8, which is even coming out in less time than that. And just those three phones and what you think of those. I mean, these are the new top-line phones. Obviously, Samsung Note 8 we know a lot about, and Apple is kind of speculation. Google's a little speculation. But we want to get into that and just see what you think about it, and also just bring up the price. These things are expensive. And which one would you buy if you could, or are you just out of the running for all three of them? But let's get our roundtable introduced here. I'm Greg Nibbler, and to my right...
Adrian Warner, producer at Digital Trends.
Hello, Adrian.
Hot Nozzle.
Hot Nozzle.
For those of you who
are fans, you may know her as Hot Nozzle. And to your right.
Hey, Hanif Jackson, content manager, Digital Trends.
Hanif, we don't have a nickname for you yet.
Oh,
either.
but we do.
Oh, what is it?
Oh.
Flapjack.
Flapjack.
Cool.
Right. I forgot. Flapjack.
That's
All right.
right.
Hot Nozzle, Flapjack, and on the end.
I don't want to play. Just call me the guy,
Mr.
over there.
Grumps.
Yeah, Mr. Grumpy Cat.
We were thinking because he was like, if Caleb is the whiskey mist,
Yeah.
What would Ryan be? What about?
How is he the whiskey mist? He only drinks vodka.
Well, he is the whiskey.
Oh, the secret has been exposed.
He's got it in he's got it in an IV next to his bed.
What about the gin vapor? The gin vapor. maybe that could work. I don't know if you drink
how about
gin,
the
but-
beer fatty?
The beer fatty.
the beer gas.
Wow.
I'm just starting to drink beer and getting really fat these days.
Okay,
so.
well, let's just get depressed right after that.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
That's what you do when you get older. That's how you go.
All right, well, let's talk about phones then. Let's talk about these prices. So as I'm saying, go ahead and drop your comments in there. I do want to see what people think. Susie says, my iPhone 7 is awful. Let's see. No, I'm not buying the iPhone. Somebody. So this is what we're getting as far as the comments are. But that's what I want to talk about. Like, let's maybe go through each one of these phones as far as what we know, and just a little bit, just off the basis. Somebody who's already a fan of the gin vapor, by the way, so that's sticking. Samsung Note 8. This came out this week. We finally got to see some details on it. This is following up the Note 7, which, don't forget, what happened with the Note 7.
It used to blow up a little bit.
It did blow up.
Just a little bit.
Blew up a lot of things, which was why it is kind of funny to me that they stuck with the Note brand line. We talked about that, I think, on Daily, and somebody was like, yeah, of course they have to stick with the Note brand line. They don't really have to.
Well, I think if they
could've
turn
changed
away,
it.
it's admitting that there's a problem. It's like,
Yeah.
they should just call it the not blower upper by that point.
Not blow up.
Besides, we got the 24-hour news cycle. Everybody forgets what happened the week before anyways.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm bringing it back up. Just to
just so
remind
you
everybody.
know, they used to blow up.
It did blow up. But yeah, I mean, it does look like it's a pretty fantastic phone. Just a couple of things of note. We've got a full review at digitaltrends.com if you want to go into the full details of it. But it's the S Pen stylus that it's got with it. It does have Bixby. It's got a better camera, but the one thing, or a better battery, but the one thing that stuck out for me that we're seeing on a lot of these high-end phones now is the dual lens camera on the back.
Right.
Dual lens 12 megapixel camera, which I'm a fan of that. just for the lots of different things that you can use with it.
I was going to say, now Bixby, that's their like assistant, right?
Bixby's their AI assistant. I think it's supposed to be along the lines of like of Siri.
Okay.
As far as I understand, but they also had a lot of problems rolling that out because it wasn't working with English speakers for quite a while, and so they had to
with
delay.
A very butlery type name.
Yeah, I
too,
think
Yeah.
this is
like
the best
Hello,
name.
Bixby.
Bixby.
Bixby. So it does have Bixby on it, and I highly doubt that's a big selling point. As long as you can just use Google Assistant.
Yeah.
think
Well,
it's
I mean,
what
I feel like
people do.
Siri's getting worse somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like knows me less. I don't know what's happening.
What happened, Siri? We used to be so
It
close.
used to like tell me how to get home. I could just be like, Siri, take me home, and now it's just like, let's
now it's
go to
not.
Massachusetts.
Here's the number for radio.
Working in reverse.
There are comments coming in, Mark, accurately calling this out. A better battery. You mean one that doesn't burn your house down? Yeah, I meant for the length, how long it'll last. But yeah, you are correct on that. On that too. See, oh yeah, Vicky brings up the LG V20. That's true. I didn't put this one in there, but that is another option on the phone. But let's talk about these three phones. That's what we know about the Galaxy Note 8. Now the iPhone 8 is supposed to be coming out on September 12th. We've had so many rumors about the iPhone 8 or whatever. We don't even know what it's going to be called. It could be something else. It could be the iPhone edition, the iPhone X. It's going to be the 10th anniversary phone. And with all of these rumors, hopefully they've come up with something pretty good for it. And it's not just a minor upgrade.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the biggest upgrade that we've known about, at least that's been rumored, is the price, right? I mean, I think it's from $1,000 to $1,200 now.
Jeez.
That's
Yeah.
for the maximum capacity.
It
yeah,
may
I think
be,
so.
yeah.
Well, and it's looking like the base end is going to be the $999.
Yeah, and then you'll get up to
$999.
$1,200 on the big side.
Yeah, bigger memory, which that is. I don't think I could ever pay $1,000 for a phone.
I wouldn't feel right doing that. Just
It's
something within me just wouldn't allow myself to do that.
Yeah, I can't pay that much for anything that spends that much time against my butt.
Hot take.
Sorry.
That is a hot take. That is a hot take. I was just. Does anybody remember? Maybe I'm the only one old enough to remember when there was regular phones and not smartphones, and only the cool people had the Apple iPhone, and it was like this thing. It was this thing to aspire to. Then Android came out, and then cell phone companies started figuring out how to subsidize the pricing, so it became more like your crappy phone that you got before. Like, remember when the Motorola Razr was like a cool phone?
Yeah.
And then the iPhone came out, and everybody's like, "I'm an idiot. This sucks now." And so everybody had to have the iPhone, and it actually put you behind because you didn't have GPS on your phone, you didn't have your email on your phone unless you had the BlackBerry or whatever. But that was when it was an aspirational phone. Then it all
It's a status symbol
and now
almost.
it seems like they're going back to that as far as Apple is concerned. And I read an article about this, and that's the idea. It's like, but don't worry about it because there'll be plenty of cheap Android phones. The problem is a lot of us don't really care for Android and its many iterations, or just don't want to move on from the OS that we know, the iMessages that we know. So here we are, like, what do you do now? I've been sitting here stuck with an iPhone 6 because I don't want to buy a phone without a headphone jack. I know a lot of people don't care about that, but I'm an audio reviewer and I do.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to take around a not very nice digital DAC wherever I go. That was redundant, but you get the point. But yeah,
No, but
anyway,
it makes sense. Yeah.
now it's looks like they're going back to the aspirational phone. And what are we going to do? Are we going to buy iPhone 6s again? They make them obsolete with the software. So it's kind of putting us all in a strange position.
Yeah, if you want to stick with that OS, you're going to have to start paying that price. That's probably what it's going to end up being.
Or they're going to have cheaper iPhones, like they came out with the iPhone 5C.
You're right. I mean, maybe they do, but if they're already at $999, like, what's the cheap one going to be?
It's like $700.
Yeah. And it should be of note too. The Galaxy Note 8, I think that price is $929. So it's getting up there too. I mean, it's pretty close to $1,000 on that.
Yeah.
How much was the 6? I mean,
It was like $650.
$650.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I figured out that AT&T, my cover, changed everything, and they said, "Oh, you can get a new phone in 2 years, but you give us that one back. So you pay for that for 2 years. That's the new plan, but you give it back, unless you keep it for 30 months, and then it's yours." Other than that, you've just rented. You've basically
leasing
leased
it,
a phone.
yeah.
Losing a phone,
Yeah, so you have to actually
astounding.
hold on to it for 30 months now if you want to get a new phone and hold on to the old one.
And that's at 2.5 years. That's a long time.
It's a long
in phone.
time,
long time.
especially
Phone
when the
life.
software starts to make stuff sort of not work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So far, the 6 is still working for me, so maybe that's what
yeah,
they're.
same.
You're sticking with it.
Don't listen to them.
You're okay. There's nothing wrong with you.
And you wonder why Siri doesn't listen to you anymore.
Yeah.
Look how you're
You're
talking.
reviewing
to
all
her.
these other
It's
phones.
because I don't make enough money.
Well, the other one that's the other kind of big release that's coming up is the Google Pixel 2, which they're thinking is going to be released on October 5th when Google has an event that they'll release this one, and that one's probably around $700. So now it seems like a bargain compared to what
That's
the other
crazy, right? $700 seems like a good
Bargain.
deal.
Seems like a bargain.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's starting to be where we're going to be pushed. A lot of us are going to be pushed into the Android world, it looks like.
Yeah.
Just by default.
Having always been in the Android world, I mean, this isn't anything new to me. These prices are crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was one of the benefits of being an Android user is that, you know, you didn't have to pay that much for the top end phones. Now you can still get, you know, mid range because I break my phone so often. So I'm in the $100 range just to be safe. Also, I would just feel like I would lose it. Like if I paid $1,000 for a phone, I just know I would lose it.
You shouldn't take it away.
Lose my $100 phone.
Don't take it out of your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Just stay there. That's my house phone.
Yeah. It's your computer.
So that is another option too, the Google Pixel 2, as far as when that comes out. And that was just the general question that we were putting up there on Facebook and YouTube is, you know, of these three, would you buy any of them? And if so, which one? Or would you just not? And I guess kind of subsequent question, would you pay $1,000 for a phone? And it seems like a lot of people are saying no. And I think eventually, if you want to get in the top end, that sounds like it's what the going rate is going to be.
Yeah, and you get the new features. They say that the iPhone 8 may be able to charge wirelessly.
Yeah.
You know, and they're even creating. Other third-party companies are creating, you know, new products that will, you know, say sit in a bar and have beams down for your wireless charging
Exactly,
phone. So you
yeah.
set it
They
on
already
the
have that in
table and it's
Starbucks,
charging
right?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, you know, do you want to jump into that feature area?
I mean, the features, again, this is all speculation because Apple hasn't said what it's going to have. But I mean, if it has all of this, if it has the dual lens camera, and they've got Apple AR that supposedly might be incorporated, wireless charging. I mean, there's
I
so
don't
many
see
rumors.
Apple AR coming, but maybe I just haven't been reading up. Maybe
They are working on it. They have a whole division for Apple AR.
right. And I remember though that they've had those patents for I don't know 2 or 3 years at least.
That's true too.
Apple buys patents all the time, so you never know what they're going to turn into.
Yeah. So that's the thing with all of these rumors. I feel like they've got to come out with something to wow if it's going to be $1,000 other than we have a gold version, you know, or
Right.
something like that.
And everybody seems to think that it's going to outdo the 8 because the 8 was just sort of a minor upgrade. So I guess we'll find out.
The iPhone 7.
Sorry, the Galaxy 8.
Oh, the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Oh.
the Note 8.
Gotcha. Yes, there we go. That's
So many
words,
numbers.
So many
things.
8s.
Yeah,
There's a lot of 8s.
There's a lot of 8s
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, we need to get some better names out there. I mean, if it's the iPhone X, I feel like that would sell a lot. Just the name alone.
Professor iPhone X.
Professor iPhone X. Okay.
But that needs to come with Bixby.
iPhone Professor X with Bixby.
And we want to get on some other topics because we do have a lot that we're going to bounce around on here for Trends with Benefits. That's kind of the whole thing. We go through different things. But to just a couple of the comments about the phones, David says only Google's blind loyalist will buy the Pixel 2. Such an underwhelming device. I've got a buddy with a Pixel, and I got to say I like it. I think it's pretty great. Now I don't know if I would pay $700 for it.
One of our IT people has a Pixel, and she's really happy with it. So.
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
both sides of it. People either love it or hate it, it seems like.
Really, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does not have the same. I think HTC built the last one. The rumor is LG might be building this one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the new Pixel because Google isn't quite ready yet to start making their own. But yeah, so we'll see what it's like. That's again rumored to be October 5th for the Google Pixel. So keep your comments coming. Let us know what you think on that. But we are going to talk about some other things. It's kind of a random day, and these are kind of cherry picked things that have been happening this week. But I want to bring them up, and this has to do with drone delivery. So drone delivery, obviously, we've been hearing about Amazon wanting to do this for a while, and they are trying really hard to get drone deliveries to happen. But I think it's going to be quite a while before it happens in the United States just because of all the regulations. Iceland doesn't care about that. So Iceland, they don't care about regulations. And they have already instituted drone deliveries in Reykjavik, if I'm saying that correct. I think that's how
I
you
think
say it.
so.
I think you nailed
Yeah,
it.
you nailed that.
Sweet. Now I'll probably never get it right again. But they are, they have deliveries that are going on in there. I'm pulling up the name of the company right now. Since they have, I guess, so many different ports and their traffic system is not set up very well. Not a lot of straight lines anywhere. They've got these deliveries where it's a local company called Flytrex that is partnered with AHA, which I guess is one of their biggest e-commerce companies, so it kind of sounds like a Iceland version of Amazon. And they are launching drone deliveries, and it's actually happening across the city, which is pretty incredible. It's also going to be, I think, kind of a testing ground for what can go wrong.
For sure.
But I think it's a great thing as far as just it's kind of a test to see what's going to happen. What do you guys think? Do you think we'll get drone deliveries anytime soon?
Well, I think I can see what can go wrong right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Is she just walked into those propellers? I hope they shut off. Maybe there's a light system
Yeah,
or something.
that was my
because
thought.
you've got to
I'm
do
sure they
everything for the
stop when they
lowest
land.
common denominator,
Yeah.
right? So the dumbest guy that's going to walk right into it while it's still going because he's drunk.
Maybe Iceland has a higher bar than we've got.
I think they do too.
They also have fewer people and
That's true.
smaller space.
I was thinking that their crime statistics are probably much, much, much lower than anything
Yeah,
in America.
I'm sure.
Whereas ours, instantly, it's like, who's going to steal that? Somebody
Exactly.
steal it.
That's my
I mean,
instant
but
thought.
that's the issue there, right? Is like user error, right? Like
Yeah.
the drones themselves are probably gonna be perfect. They'll fly the way they need to. They'll go where they need to go just fine. But it's the receiving end, the people on the receiving end, like when they go to interact with the drone, when they go to take the package out, like
Yeah.
they just fumble it or So
Yeah,
Well,
what
and just
will
to play
happen there?
devil's advocate there, there's all sorts of issues right now with self-driving cars that can get confused
Sure.
by, I know that the drones probably mostly use GPS, and it's different because they're coming in, more 3 dimensions from the air, but still, like, self-driving cars get confused by stickers on signs sometimes, and just like a flash, a reflection
Yeah.
is what turned over one of those. One of Musk's Teslas, and
Yeah,
so
you're right.
You just never know. Like, there's a lot of unknowns.
Well, there was even that woman, I think it was in a British restaurant. It was like the British TGI Fridays or something. They were trying to do drone deliveries. And
Do
they
they
hit
have
this
that?
lady in the nose. And yeah, it was not good. You're right. That is a factor there.
There's a lot that can go
The major plus for this, I feel like, is the environmental factor. So if they could put out some statistics on how many like carbon emissions they're
saving with
they're
it.
saving with it, then that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not getting your electricity from coal, which countries like that do not. So
Yeah.
The gin vapor.
Laying it down.
well, it's just like you're saving it one way and you're
Yeah.
putting it back in the other.
Yeah.
It's not great.
You are, yeah, that is true. All right, take a look here, and again, keep your comments coming through on Facebook and YouTube if you want to comment in on these, and we will bounce back and talk about the iPhone and Android issues again. I already see an iPhone fight that's going on here in the chat. So
Yep, that'll happen.
Yeah.
yep,
Get some
Android O versus iOS.
feisty comment.
Oh,
What kind of an
yeah.
idiot would think blank?
Yep, that is going on. Also, the sirens are real. If you can hear the sirens in the background, that is happening outside of this right now. All right, we'll just ignore that. So let's get on to something else that was announced this week. Elon Musk has made it no secret that with SpaceX, he wants to take people to Mars and form his own Elon colony or whatever he's going to do there. But he is...
Kind of sounds like a race of aliens already, right? The Elons.
The Elon.
we are the Elons.
I think they're going to call it. They're going to call it Musktown.
the Musktown.
Well,
Elons.
they're shopping that around right now.
They are, though, planning on, eventually sending people to Mars, and now they've come up with their own spacesuit, which to me, just the idea that a company is coming up with their own spacesuits. I mean, I'm still back in the ideas of thinking that's something that NASA does or governments do. Mm-hmm. This is a private company that has come up with a brand new spacesuit. It's pretty impressive looking. It does look like something out of science fiction.
Yeah.
But I guess he did post that this is a working model. It actually works.
Really?
He said it's tested in double vacuum pressure, which I'm not sure what double vacuum pressure is. But that's his statement, so I'm sure it's something. And he said, we worked incredibly hard to balance aesthetics and function, easy to do either separately. So it's an actual working spacesuit that he has come up with. And it's, I don't know, I'm impressed.
To me, it looks like something's missing. Like, I guess, like you
Where's
said...
the oxygen?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you looked at the traditional, like, NASA suit, even on the outside, they're just, like, little pouches or, like, containment things that look like they hold things of importance.
Yeah.
Or, it just looks very, like you said, sci-fi, very clean. There's not, I don't see any mechanical things attached to it. So
Yeah, it is lacking a lot of
So when
information.
you said it's working, that's really intriguing to me because it doesn't look like anything on that works.
They
Yeah.
packed it all into
Just-
the boots.
Just some boots.
It looks like a motorcycle suit,
Right? Yeah.
essentially.
It does kind of, yeah. The helmet does, looks like a motorcycle helmet.
Maybe it's modular.
Needs more knobs or cranks
to
or
it.
something.
Could be.
Like,
I mean, and he did just post this and say it works, so we don't actually
That's
right.
have
Yeah,
something.
sure.
Exactly.
Also of note, if you're looking at that and thinking the flag is backward on the arm, that's the way it's supposed to be.
It's probably just that one guy.
of a military suit or anything like that. The flag is supposed to look backwards.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, actually.
Fun fact.
Yep.
Fun
go.
fact.
Imagine the person as
On
though
the right
they're the
side.
flagpole, and so the flag
Yeah.
on each side is flowing backward. There it is. We'll see what the comments we get for that.
Oh,
All right. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to
heated
post that and
topics.
just talk about Elon Musk and that. I think it's exciting. Would you go on one of the first trips to Mars?
no.
No,
All those?
I would go to the moon for for like
Absolutely not. No
You're not going
way.
to risk that.
Maybe in 30 years.
What if you could name it, Ryantown in Mars, like
Dubstown?
Dubstown?
I mean, space needs to be commercial. That's what gets everything going. If you've
Yeah.
ever watched a sci-fi movie, that's how stuff gets moving.
Right.
It's space mining is what always kicks it off because if there's money,
Something bad always happens in that.
that's
though.
true.
Always.
Then they
Space
find an
mining
egg.
colony, something horrible happened to these
Yep.
people. But that's how you make a buck, right? But
Yeah.
that's what's going to push it forward. So we need this happening
Yeah.
as much as possible. But I don't want to strap onto that thing.
Yeah.
No.
Not happening. I would
Leave
would
that to
take a
Lance
trip
Bass.
space. Yeah, yeah.
Lance Bass.
Is he still trying to get up there?
I don't know.
Whatever happened with that?
Does he have an Indiegogo campaign or something?
Maybe. Did
He
run out
was
of
like
money?
trying to get the Russians to fly him to space. That was a
Yeah.
while back. That was
That
a
was.
dated
Sorry.
reference, but
That's really dated. That showed your age more than anything else. I think that's
well,
what it was.
he's my
It was
favorite singer, Greg.
I'm not taking that away from you. I'm not taking it away from you. All right, let's move on to a couple other things. And again, this is Trends with Benefits. So we talk about a lot of different issues here, different things that have come up during this week. And this next one, kind of our last topic here that I want to get to before we talk a little bit more about the phones, is one of the weirdest things I've seen. Amazingly, of any fast food company, I guess is how I would put this. KFC is usually at the forefront. KFC and Domino's. They got a strong tech game going, and
Oh, yeah.
KFC has now made an announcement that their employees are going to be using a virtual reality training system. It is set up. We're going to play a little bit of the video if you're watching live. If you're listening via the podcast, you'll have to find this on DT. The system is, first person. You are set up in kind of like an escape room. So it looks like you're in a
Yes.
den where everything on the wall
Yes.
is all like heads of Colonel Sanders and portraits of Colonel Sanders. You walk through putting chicken into a bucket and cooking it in order to open up some other kind of thing like a normal escape room. One Colonel Sanders shoots lasers at you, which I think we just saw in there. It is a really, really strange use and very creepy use of the technology. But this is what they're going with. I mean, the idea, I guess, in principle, could be applied to a lot of different lines of work as far as VR training.
I
Yeah.
mean, they
Yes.
train people in the army using VR and
Right.
medical fields using VR.
That makes sense. I don't know how much this accurately trains somebody to be in a, KFC kitchen.
It looks like a Bioshock nightmare, which Bioshock's already a
does.
nightmare.
Yeah.
So
Bioshock meets KFC.
The chicken does not look like chicken.
I'm just gonna say.
does
the
it when
chicken
you
doesn't
buy
look
it either?
Snozzberries do not taste like snozzberries.
Well, and Rich, producer behind you, was saying like, are they gonna like mimic the smelling, the smell of chicken, or
Oh, see now that,
know?
yeah.
That's what VR is missing
the
right
next
now.
step.
Touch
it
and,
is
touch and smell.
Smell-o-vision.
At
yeah.
this point, they say supple hands. Stick your supple hands in there, which is so disturbing.
Does it actually say
It
that?
does.
says,
It does.
Stick your supple hands into the. That is a weird use.
Well, they've always done weird things. Like they came out with a Bluetooth keyboard that was made out of their restaurant
Yeah, like the
napkin or
placemats.
placemats. Yeah.
And a couple weeks ago, they had like a box in India that you stuck your phone into. Sorry,
Yeah.
and then there was a controller on either side, so you could play your phone on the greasy chicken box.
Yeah, it's almost like on the Nintendo Switch. only-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and McDonald's just came
Greasy,
out with a
greasy.
boombox. This is an interesting development.
How's the sound
It's
on the
not
McDonald's?
completely
food?
unprecedented. no.
Fantastic. As you would
serious?
no. I didn't hear it, but we did not like it.
Aw.
And Eve, what do you mean by that?
Well, just as far as like fast food companies like delving into gaming, like even like in the like late '80s and stuff. I think like Domino's had what was it?
Avoid the Noid?
The Noid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had like a Nintendo, like original Nintendo game.
The Noid,
The Noid.
fun fact, was created by an animation studio here in town.
Really?
Oh, hey.
The Noid was
Yep.
Will Vinton, or
Yeah, that's the game.
yeah, is that it?
Yep.
All right.
So
Look at that.
yeah, I
Tons
mean,
of fun
fast
facts
food
today.
companies do weird things in gaming all the time. But I think with this and VR, it's kind of like reminds me of like Job Simulator, just like the layout of it. But I don't, like you said, the actual. I don't think this is for actual training. I think this is probably like
Another PR stunt.
yeah.
What's the end for the end game of this? Like eat virtual chicken? I don't understand how they sell more chicken with it.
I don't know.
What goes on with that?
How do
cool
they sell
VR
more
game.
chicken with a greasy Bluetooth keyboard?
Yeah, that is true.
It's hard to say.
Okay, well, these are the mysteries. Obviously, we're not high up in the fast food game.
Yeah, we tried. I tried to get there. It's a tough racket.
Going back to just a couple of comments that we've had throughout here for the different topics that we brought up. Elon's spacesuit. Somebody said, "Isn't that the helmet designed straight out of Gravity or Life?" It does kind of look like that.
It also
Think
looks like
about
The
it?
Martian to me, too.
The Martian.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. Well, I guess if it works, it works. And yeah, just kind of seeing here. So I see Face ID on the next iPhone will be years ahead of any other biometric security option out there. And that's talking about going back to the iPhone, the rumor that they may have facial recognition software on there. The one thing that about that is supposedly, and again, if it happens, the camera will always be on, even if the phone's off, to scan for your face. I don't like that idea
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
a little spooky.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, just imagine that thing getting hacked.
I mean, this is Apple again, delving into that privacy argument. You know, that's a fast way to get into that one real quick. My face is my face, and I don't want you to know what my face looks like unless I want you to know what it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it looks like.
Well, now you know. Now the world knows.
Everybody knows now.
It just bums me out that like any facial recognition, like you look at your phone like this, and this is what your phone
Yeah, you got to get that profile
So
up
like
from up high.
Oh my god.
thousands of people, or I don't know, it'll eventually like every piece of phone recognition or facial recognition will recognize everyone like this.
It'd be like the worst shot
Sucks.
ever.
It
Like,
sucks.
That is, I never thought about that.
yeah.
That's an interesting perspective.
God, that's.
I wanted the retina scanner, but only if it made the cool laser thing on your eye, like the spy movies. Otherwise, what's the point
Well,
of that?
the
That's true.
Samsung has that, right? Is the iris scanner?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I believe it does. So there you go. See, another reason to
So-
go to Android.
Boom.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
But you should though.
I don't either.
Does it do iMessaging? The answer is no.
iMessaging.
The answer is no.
Well, there it is. You can read about all of these topics at digitaltrends.com. And, like I said, we know about the Note 8. We'll find out about the iPhone 8 soon enough. We've got a whole section devoted to all the rumors and things that we know or speculating about it. You can check that all out at digitaltrends.com and everything else that we've talked about. And again, this is Trends with Benefits. So we do this podcast live every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific on YouTube and Facebook. And then it goes up as an audio podcast. Tomorrow, Friday, live at 2 p.m. is Between the Streams with myself and now the Gin Vapor.
That's right.
We switched it. We had another nickname for you for a while.
Yeah,
now
I don't
that's- Okay, we'll go Gin Vapor now.
It's flexible.
So be sure to tune into that. It's all about entertainment. And thanks everybody for tuning into this. Make sure to share it, let everybody know, and we'll be back next week with another episode.